The blood hit the white designer sneakers first. Then the scream. Then silence. 3 hours earlier. Autumn Reeves stood alone in the second-floor bathroom, staring at fresh graffiti scrawled across the mirror. Reeves sluts, like sister, like sister. Her reflection fractured through the black permanent marker, splitting her face into jagged pieces. She touched the words with trembling fingers. Someone knew about Willow. Someone remembered. The bathroom door slammed open. 3 girls walked in, their laughter dying when they saw her. Madison Chen whispered something to Brooklyn Mitchell, who smirked. They knew too. Autumn grabbed her backpack and pushed past them. The hallway stretched ahead like a tunnel, lined with students who all seemed to be watching, waiting. October 13th, just another Friday at Ridgemont High School, where money bought silence and power wrote the rules. She didn't know about the wall yet, the collection, the countdown that had already started. Jackson Fitzgerald leaned against his locker, tracking her movement with predator eyes. 6'3", lacrosse captain, senator's nephew. The kind of boy mothers warned their daughters about, except his mother was dead, and the warnings came too late. There she is, he murmured to Bryce Nakamura, who lifted his phone slightly. Always recording, always ready. Baby Reeves, right on schedule. Autumn felt their eyes but kept walking. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. Awareness is survival. Always know who's watching. Krav Maga lesson number 1, drilled into her since she could walk. But knowing and acting were different things. She turned the corner and collided with a solid wall of muscle. Jackson's chest. His hands caught her waist, fingers pressing just a second too long, just an inch too low. Careful there, he said, breath hot against her ear. Wouldn't want you getting hurt. Her body knew what to do. Muscle memory screamed for her to grab his wrist. Twist. Strike. Years of training compressed into a single moment of nothing. She froze, stepped back, walked away, behind her. Jackson's laugh echoed off the lockers. See that? He said to Bryce, loud enough for everyone to hear. Easy prey, just like I said. Autumn made it to her next class before her hands stopped shaking. AP History with Mrs. Patterson, who was explaining something about the French Revolution when Autumn's phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. But something made her look. A photo. Jackson's bedroom. Her breath caught. The wall behind his bed was covered in photographs. Not regular pictures. Underwear. Different colors. Different styles. Each one labeled with a name and date. Trophies. And there, circled in red marker, was her school ID photo. Written above it in block letters, October 13, Baby Reeves pays. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Your sister couldn't protect you from 3,000 miles away. The classroom walls seemed to close in. Mrs. Patterson's voice faded to static. Autumn gripped her desk until her knuckles went white. How many girls were on that wall? How many victims? And why was her picture circled? She raised her hand. May I use the restroom? In the hallway, she dialed Willow's number with shaking fingers. Straight to voicemail. Her sister was probably in class at Yale, living her perfect life, not knowing that her past had followed Autumn to Portland. Hey, it's me, Autumn whispered into the phone. Something's happening. Something about that guy from 2 years ago. Call me back, please. She ended the call and Googled her sister's name. The first result made her stomach drop. Yale student exposes campus stalker. 2 million views and counting. The video loaded slowly on the school's Wi-Fi. There was Willow, fierce and beautiful, standing in front of a dorm building. And there, being escorted away by campus security with a bloody nose and black eye, was a younger Jackson Fitzgerald. "This is what happens when you think you own women," Willow's voice rang out from the phone speaker. "When you follow them, photograph them, treat them like objects, you get exposed. You get stopped." The video comments were a battlefield. Death threats, rape threats, and Jackson's name. Over and over, followed by promises of revenge. Autumn scrolled through, each comment making her sicker. Then she found it. A comment from 1 year ago. Username jfitz_17. "Your sister's next. Already picked her out. October 13th. Baby Reeves learns about consequences." A whole year. He'd been planning this for a whole year. She ran back to her locker, needing her anxiety medication, needing to think. But when she spun the combination and opened the door, white roses tumbled out. Dead ones. Petals black at the edges, the same kind from Willow's video. The ones Jackson had left at her door for weeks. A note was taped inside. Same handwriting as the bathroom graffiti. "Strike 1 was your sister. Strike 2 is you. Strike 3. The rest was just a crudely drawn picture that made her slam the locker shut. "You okay?" Autumn spun around. A girl stood there, maybe a sophomore, with paint-stained fingers and worried eyes. Sage Williams, she realized, the janitor's daughter who helped in the art room. "I'm fine," Autumn lied. Sage glanced at the dead roses scattered on the floor. "No, you're not. Come with me, now." Something in her voice made Autumn follow. They walked quickly through empty hallways. Downstairs, Autumn didn't know existed. Into a basement storage room that smelled like industrial cleaner and old paint. Sage locked the door behind them and pulled out her phone. "I need to show you something. But first, you have to promise not to scream." "What are you talking about?" "Just promise." "Fine, I promise." Sage opened a hidden folder on her phone. Video files. Dozens of them, all labeled with dates. She clicked on one from 6 months ago. The angle was bad, clearly filmed in secret, but Autumn could see enough. A hallway. A group of boys surrounding a girl. The same formation. The same predatory circle. And then, the flip. The scream. The laughter. "That was me," Sage said quietly. "March 10th. My Flip Friday." "Your what?" "That's what they call it. Flip Friday. Been happening for 3 years. Always the same crew. Always filmed." She scrolled through more videos. June 2nd. Ashley Martinez. April 5th. Destiny Thompson. February 11th. Trinity Patel. 17 girls total. Well, 18 after today. Autumn's knees gave out. She sank onto a paint-stained chair. 17 girls? How? Why hasn't anyone stopped it? Sage laughed bitterly. "Watch this." She pulled up another video. This one was clearer. Filmed from a security camera. The same assault, but from a different angle. And there, in the background, clearly watching, was Principal Morrison, watching and doing nothing, walking away as a girl screamed. "He knows," Autumn whispered. "They all know. The principal, the security guards, half the teachers. Jackson's uncle donates $2 million a year to the school. New football field, new science lab, new everything. All it costs is looking the other way while girls get hurt. The room spun. Autumn gripped the edge of the chair. Why are you showing me this? Because you're next. And because... Sage pulled up another video. I've been recording everything. Every planning session. Every bet they make. Every sick thing they say. 3 years of evidence. I just needed someone brave enough to use it. On the screen, Jackson sat in what looked like a basement, surrounded by his crew. Bryce with his camera. As always, Mason Clark, Hunter Bradley, Carson Ross, the kings of Ridgemont High, planning their next hunt. October 13th, Jackson was saying in the video, Baby Reeves finally pays for what her sister did. But we're not doing the regular flip. Too easy. Too quick. He leaned forward, eyes glittering. Full strip. 5 guys to block the exits. Professional camera crew I'm hiring from Portland State. Make it so viral she has to leave the state, maybe the country. Someone off camera asked, what if she fights back? Her sister knew some moves. Jackson smiled. It was the kind of smile that made Autumn's skin crawl. I hope she does. Breaking a fighter is so much more fun than breaking someone who's already broken. The video ended. Sage put her phone away and looked at Autumn with fierce determination. So, what are you going to do? Autumn stood up slowly. Her hands had stopped shaking. I need to get home. I need to talk to my mom. Your mom can't stop this. The police can't stop this. I tried. Remember, my dad tried. Nobody listens to the janitor's daughter. My mom's different. Sage raised an eyebrow. Different how? Autumn headed for the door, then paused. Different enough. Save those videos. All of them. And Sage. Thank you. She left the storage room and walked through the school like a ghost. Students parted around her, whispers following in her wake. They all knew. Everyone knew what was coming. What day it was. What would happen if she showed up on Friday? The final bell rang as she reached the parking lot. Autumn's ancient Honda Civic sat alone in the back row, already bearing new decorations. Slut spray-painted on the hood, Friday on the trunk, a countdown to humiliation. She drove home on autopilot, past the perfect lawns of Ridgemont, past the country club where Jackson's father played golf with judges, past the memorial garden dedicated to Jackson's mother, Elena Fitzgerald, dead at 39 from an overdose of pills her husband's pharmaceutical company manufactured. The irony wasn't lost on Autumn, a boy whose father made billions from other people's pain, planning to cause more pain, a perfect circle of suffering. Her mother's car was in the driveway when she got home. Strange, Dr. Rachel Reeves never left her practice before 6. Autumn found her in the kitchen, still in her work clothes, staring at a box she hadn't seen in years. Military medals glinted in the afternoon light. Photos scattered across the table. Documents in Hebrew and English. Mom. Rachel looked up, and Autumn saw she'd been crying. Autumn, sit down, baby, we need to talk. If this is about what's happening at school, it's about why I taught you to fight. Her mother's voice was steady now, clinical, the voice she used with her most traumatized patients. And why I hoped you'd never have to. She pushed a newspaper clipping across the table. The headline was in Hebrew, but Autumn could read enough. IDF soldier kills attempted rapist in self-defense. That was me, Rachel said quietly. 19 years old, 3 months into my service. He was my commanding officer. She touched the photo beneath the article. A younger version of herself in uniform, eyes hollow with something Autumn had never seen before. I killed him with my bare hands, just like they taught us, just like I taught you. Autumn's world tilted. Mom, I came to America to escape. Met your father. Thought I'd found safety. Another photo. Their family. Back when it was whole. Before Dad's drinking. Before the restraining orders. Before everything fell apart. I was wrong. Men like that exist everywhere. In uniforms. In suits. In high school letterman jackets. She pulled out a leather journal. Pages yellow with age. I started training you when you were 4. The same age I was when my mother should have trained me. Every kick, every strike, every technique. I gave you what I wished I'd had. Autumn picked up the journal, reading her mother's careful notes, training logs from when she could barely write her own name. Autumn, age 4, learned throat strike. Cried when she thought she hurt Mommy. Must work on emotional detachment. You knew, Autumn said. You knew this day would come. I hoped it wouldn't, prayed it wouldn't, but yes, I knew. Men like that, they're drawn to strength. They want to break it. Rachel reached across the table and took her daughter's hands. But you're not broken, and you're not alone. There's something else. Autumn pulled out her phone, showed her mother the wall of trophies, watched her face go pale, then red, then deadly calm. How many girls? 17, maybe more. Rachel stood up abruptly, walked to the window. When she spoke again, her voice was different. Soldier's voice. Show me everything, every photo, every video, every piece of evidence, now. They spent the next hour going through it all. The videos from Sage, the death threats to Willow, the principal watching and walking away. By the end, Rachel's hands were shaking with rage. I'm pulling you out of school, she said. Tonight, we'll transfer you to Madison Prep, or homeschool, or no. Autumn? No, Mom. 17 girls. 17 girls who didn't have a mother who taught them to fight, who didn't have evidence, who didn't have choices. Autumn stood up, feeling something cold and certain settle in her chest. If I run, he wins, and the next girl loses. Rachel studied her daughter's face for a long moment. You're sure? I'm sure. Then we prepare. She walked to the hall closet, pulled out a locked case Autumn had never seen before. Inside, neatly organized, were things that made Autumn's breath catch. Tactical equipment, recording devices, evidence collection kits. If you're going to war, you go prepared. Mom, what is all this insurance? Rachel's smile was sharp as a blade. I told you I came to America to escape. I never said I came unprepared. That night, they trained in the basement. Not the careful, controlled movements Autumn was used to. Real training, combat training, the kind that left bruises and drew blood. Again, Rachel commanded after Autumn's 100th combination. Faster, harder. He won't give you time to think. Autumn struck the heavy bag until her knuckles split, kicked until her shins went numb. Her mother corrected every movement, demanded perfection. You get one chance, Rachel said. One moment when he thinks he's won. That's when you strike. Not before, not after. In that exact moment when his guard drops. At midnight, Autumn's phone rang. Willow. I got your message, her sister said without preamble. I'm coming home. Will, you don't have to. Shut up and listen. I pulled some strings at the law review. Found out some things about the Fitzgerald family you need to know. Papers rustled through the phone. Jackson's been escalating since his mom died. 3 arrests, all buried. 2 girls at his previous school, 1 in juvenile court. His dad's lawyers made it all disappear. How do you know all this? Because I've been tracking him since he left Yale. I knew he'd come for you eventually. I have a file 3 inches thick. Willow's voice cracked. I'm so sorry. Autumn, I thought I was protecting you by staying away. I thought, it's not your fault. It is. I publicly humiliated the son of a man who owns judges. I painted a target on our whole family. A pause, but we're going to finish this. Together, I'll be there Thursday night. After they hung up, Autumn sat in her dark room, processing everything. The wall of trophies, the 17 victims, her mother's past, Willow coming home, and somewhere across town, Jackson Fitzgerald was probably planning every detail of her humiliation. She opened her laptop and started typing. Not a suicide note, not a manifesto, just documentation. Everything that had happened, everything that would happen, everything that needed to be remembered if Friday went wrong. At 3 a.m., another text from an unknown number. This time, a video. Autumn almost didn't open it, but something made her click play. It was Bryce Nakamura, Jackson's perpetual cameraman. He was alone, whispering into his phone, looking terrified. Autumn, you don't know me, but I know what's coming. I can't do this anymore. What Jackson's planning. It's not just a flip, it's... He swallowed hard. Meet me tomorrow, 7 a.m., before school. The Starbucks on Morrison. I'll tell you everything. Just, please, someone needs to stop this. The video ended. Autumn stared at the black screen, wondering if it was a trap. Probably. Everything with Jackson was a trap. But what if it wasn't? What if one of them had finally grown a conscience? She screenshot the video, sent it to Sage, her mom, and Willow. Insurance. Always have insurance. Wednesday arrived like a countdown timer. 2 days, 48 hours. Autumn woke to find her mother already up, on the phone with someone speaking rapid Hebrew. Who was that? Autumn asked when she hung up. Old friend? She works in cybersecurity now. Rachel smiled grimly. Did you know the Fitzgerald Family Foundation has some very interesting financial records? Payments to judges, police commissioners, school board members. All digital. All traceable. Mom, that's illegal. So is what they're planning to do to you. She poured coffee with steady hands. You fight your battle. I'll fight mine. The drive to Starbucks was surreal. Normal people living normal lives. No idea that a war was brewing in their perfect suburban paradise. Autumn parked across the street, watching for signs of ambush. Bryce was already there, hunched in a corner booth, baseball cap pulled low. He looked smaller without his camera, younger without Jackson's shadow. Autumn sat down carefully, back to the wall, exits mapped. Talk. And you have to understand, Bryce started, voice shaking. I just liked making films. Jackson said he'd help me get into film school. Said his dad knew people at USC. He laughed bitterly. Turns out the only films he wanted were the assaults. He calls them documentaries. Says he's documenting the truth about female nature. How they all secretly want to be dominated. How they pretend to fight, but really, Bryce's hands clenched. It's sick. He's sick. And I helped him. Autumn kept her voice level. Why now? Why warn me? Because of what happened to my sister. The words hung between them. Bryce pulled out his phone, scrolled to a photo. A girl, maybe 13, smiling in a school uniform. That's Mia. She goes to Ridgemont Middle School. Yesterday, some boys cornered her, said her brother films sluts. So she must be one too. Said they'd be waiting for her when she gets to high school. His voice broke. They're 8th graders, 13 years old, already planning their own Flip Fridays because of what I helped create. So stop it. How you think I haven't tried? I went to the police. Jackson's uncle plays poker with the chief. I tried deleting the videos. He has backups everywhere. I tried to quit. He said he'd release deep fakes of Mia if I did. Autumn leaned forward. What exactly is he planning for Friday? Bryce glanced around nervously, then pulled out a folded paper. This is the playbook. Every position, every camera angle, every... He stopped, swallowed. He's hired 3 film students from Portland State, professional equipment, multiple angles. He wants it to look like a movie. She read through the plan, each detail making her angrier. Entry points blocked. Teachers distracted. A crowd gathered for maximum humiliation. And at the center, her name with a star next to it. Star treatment for baby Reeves. There's more, Bryce whispered. The Velcro skirt was my idea. God help me. He wanted something that would come off easy. Make a good sound for the camera. I helped him design it. I'm so sorry. Where is it now? His locker, number 347, combination 12, 21, 33. His mom's birthday. Bryce stood up abruptly. I have to go. If he finds out I talked to you... Bryce, Autumn caught his sleeve. Those videos, all of them. Can you get them? Maybe. I have access to his cloud storage, but why would you want evidence? Real evidence, not just for me, for all 17 girls. He nodded slowly. I'll try. Thursday night. I'll send everything I can get. He paused at the door. Autumn, whatever you're planning, be careful. He's been taking something, pills from his dad's company. They make him different, meaner, faster, scarier. Then he was gone, leaving Autumn with the playbook of her own humiliation. She photographed every page, sent them to her growing army of allies. Then she drove to school, late for first period, but armed with knowledge. The hallway whispers were louder now. Everyone knew Friday was Flip Day. Some girls looked at her with pity, others with relief that it wasn't them. The boys were worse, already making bets on what color underwear she'd wear, how loud she'd scream, whether she'd cry. In English class, someone had left a package on her desk. No name, but she recognized the handwriting, same as the bathroom graffiti. Inside, a tiny camera and a note so you can film your own humiliation, live stream your destruction, give the people what they want. She pocketed the camera. More evidence, always more evidence. At lunch, she sat with Sage in their hidden basement room. Together, they mapped out the school, marking camera positions, escape routes, blind spots. You could still run, Sage said quietly. No one would blame you. Would you run? Sage touched her neck where faint scars still showed from her own Flip Friday. I did run. Transferred to online school for 3 months. Tried to disappear. She looked up fiercely. It didn't work. They still have the video. Still share it. Still own that piece of me. Running doesn't delete the past. So we delete the future. Their future. That afternoon in the parking lot, Autumn found her car surrounded, not by Jackson's crew, but by girls. 17 of them. She realized with a shock. The victims from Sage's videos. Ashley Martinez stepped forward, purple-streaked hair catching the light. "We heard you're not running." Autumn nodded carefully. "We want to help." Destiny Thompson held up a phone. "We all kept evidence, screenshots, recordings, medical reports from the counseling center. 3 years of proof that everyone ignored." "Why now?" Autumn asked. Trinity Patel laughed bitterly. "Because you're Rachel Reeves's daughter. Your mom saved my aunt years ago, helped her escape an abusive marriage, got her somewhere safe." She met Autumn's eyes. "We know your family fights back. We want to fight too." They exchanged numbers, shared evidence, built a network in the shadow of the school that had failed them. 17 girls who'd been broken, finding strength in shared rage. That night, Autumn's little brother wouldn't leave her alone. 8-year-old Micah, all gangly limbs and worried eyes. "Kids at school are being mean," he said, crawling into her bed like he used to during thunderstorms. "They said bad things about you. Said you're gonna get hurt." She held him close, feeling the weight of being a big sister. "Remember what Mom taught us about bullies? They're scared inside. That's why they hurt people." "That's right. And what do we do with scared people who hurt others? We don't let them." His small voice was fierce. "We protect ourselves and others." "Good boy." She kissed his forehead. "I'm going to be okay. I promise." Outside her window, Portland slept peacefully, unaware that in 36 hours, Ridgemont High would become a battleground. And at the center of it all, a girl who'd been taught to fight since she could walk would finally find out if she could win. Thunder rumbled in the distance. A storm was coming. Perfect weather for war. Thursday morning arrived with heavy rain, turning Ridgemont's perfect lawns into mud. Autumn woke to find Willow already in the kitchen, looking exhausted but determined. Her Yale Law sweatshirt was wrinkled from the overnight drive. "You look terrible," Autumn said. "You look terrified," Willow countered. She pulled Autumn into a fierce hug. "God, I missed you. I'm so sorry I left you here with all this. You couldn't have known." "I should have." Willow pulled back, studying her little sister's face. "I knew what Jackson was capable of. I should have made sure he could never find you." Their mother entered with a box of files. "Dwelling on past mistakes won't help. We focus on tomorrow." She set the box on the table. "Willow's attorney friend sent these. Every complaint filed against Jackson that was mysteriously dropped. Every girl who was paid to stay quiet. Every judge who dismissed cases." Autumn flipped through the papers, each one a story of injustice. "There must be 50 names here." 53, Willow corrected. "Going back to when he was 14, his father's been cleaning up after him for years." Speaking of his father, Rachel pulled out her laptop. "My friend in Tel Aviv finished her research. Fitzgerald Pharmaceuticals has some interesting patents pending, experimental drugs that affect inhibition and aggression. Guess who's been stealing samples?" The pieces clicked together in Autumn's mind. Bryce said Jackson's been taking pills, getting meaner, faster. "He's drugging himself with his father's experimental compounds," Rachel confirmed, "turning himself into a more efficient predator." Thunder crashed outside. The lights flickered. "I have something else," Willow said quietly. She pulled out a flash drive. "Remember that restraining order I filed at Yale? The one that got dismissed? I kept copies of everything, including the photos Jackson took of me. Hundreds of them, following me to class, to my dorm, to the shower." Her voice stayed steady, but her hands shook. "He had a whole shrine in his dorm room. Photos of me sleeping, videos of me changing clothes taken through windows, and journals detailed fantasies about what he wanted to do to me. Will, Autumn reached for her sister's hand. The campus police said it was a crush, said boys will be boys. Even after I showed them the journal where he described kidnapping me, they said he was just expressing feelings. Willow laughed bitterly. Expressing feelings. That's what they call it when rich boys plan violence. Rachel's phone rang. She answered in Hebrew, her face growing darker with each word. When she hung up, she looked between her daughters. That was your Aunt Sarah in Tel Aviv. She's been monitoring dark web forums where Jackson's videos get shared. The one planned for tomorrow. She paused, choosing words carefully. They're advertising it, selling premium access for $500. They already have 300 buyers. What? Autumn's stomach turned. They're selling tickets to my assault, live stream access, multiple angles, professional quality. Rachel's voice was clinical, the way she got when compartmentalizing horror. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's a business. They're making money from hurting girls. Willow slammed her hand on the table. We have to stop this. We will, Rachel said. But first, Autumn needs to get through today. One more day of pretending everything is normal. School was a minefield. Everywhere Autumn walked, she felt eyes tracking her, some sympathetic, most eager for tomorrow's show. In the hallways, she caught fragments of conversation. Heard Jackson hired a whole film crew. Betting pool is up to $2,000. My brother said she'll probably transfer after. Deserves it, acting all stuck up. In chemistry, someone had left a gift on her desk, a skirt wrapped in plastic. She didn't need to check to know it was held together with Velcro. Mr. Peterson glanced at it, then away. Take your seat, Miss Reeves. She sat through the lesson on molecular bonds while holding evidence of her planned humiliation. The irony wasn't lost on her. Everything at Ridgemont was about bonds. Who was connected to whom? Whose money bought whose silence? Whose power protected whose crimes? After class, Trinity Patel caught up with her. Emergency meeting. Art room. Now. The art room was packed. Not just the 17 victims, but others. Girls who'd been groped in hallways. Girls who'd had photos taken up their skirts. Girls who'd been cornered at parties. The silent majority who'd never made it onto Jackson's trophy wall, but bore scars nonetheless. Sage stood at the front, laptop connected to a projector. We've been busy. Everyone shared their evidence. Look. The screen filled with data. Screenshots, videos, medical records, therapy notes. A comprehensive archive of Ridgemont's rape culture. 3 years of systematic abuse, documented in brutal detail. This is enough to bury them, Ashley said. The school, Jackson, all of it. If anyone listens, Destiny added bitterly, we've tried before. Nobody cares about a bunch of teenage girls saying they were hurt. They'll care tomorrow, Sage said. She clicked to a new screen. Because tomorrow, we're not just victims. We're witnesses. All of us. A map of the school appeared, marked with positions. Everyone has a job. Recording from different angles, protecting evidence, making sure nothing gets deleted or buried. What about Autumn? Someone asked. She'll be alone in the center of it. No, Autumn said, standing. I won't be alone. I'll have all of you. And I'll have this. She held up the tiny camera Jackson had mockingly given her. He wants me to live stream my humiliation, fine, but I'll be streaming more than he expects. Trinity raised her hand. What if something goes wrong? What if he really hurts you? Then you have evidence of assault, not just harassment. Either way, we win. But even as she said it, Autumn felt the weight of what winning might cost. The meeting broke up as the lunch bell rang. Autumn was heading to her locker when someone grabbed her arm. Madison Chen, one of the girls who'd laughed at the bathroom graffiti. "Wait," Madison said, glancing around nervously. "I need to tell you something about Jackson. I already know what he's planning. No, not that. About why he really hates your sister. Why he's so obsessed." Madison bit her lip. "My mom works at the hospital. She was there when they brought Jackson's mother in. The overdose." Autumn waited. She was clutching a photo, not of her family, of some girl, young, pretty, looked like a college student. Madison met her eyes. Security footage showed Jackson's mom at a pharmacy earlier that day. She was crying, kept saying her son was turning into a monster, that he was stalking some girl at Yale and she couldn't stop him. The pieces clicked. Willow. She was holding Willow's photo. The nurses think she took the pills on purpose. Couldn't live with what her son was becoming. Jackson blamed your sister for driving his mother to suicide. Said if that bitch hadn't rejected him, hadn't humiliated him, his mom would still be alive. Autumn leaned against the lockers, processing this new horror. A mother so desperate to stop her predator son that she chose death. And the son, twisting that tragedy into justification for more violence. "Why are you telling me this?" Madison looked away. "Because my little sister just started here, and I don't want her growing up in a school where this is normal, where girls get hurt and everyone just watches." She walked away quickly, but called back. "Be careful tomorrow. He's not just angry. He's insane." The rest of the day blurred past. Teachers droning about subjects that seemed meaningless. Students eyeing her like she was already gone. The storm outside growing stronger. Rain lashing the windows like it was trying to break in the parking lot after school. Autumn found Bryce waiting by her car. He thrust a hard drive at her without speaking. "Everything?" she asked. 3 years of videos, chat logs, financial records showing the payment system, even recordings of Jackson explaining his filming techniques. Bryce looked sick. "I helped create a monster. Maybe this will help destroy it."
"What about the film students, the ones he hired for tomorrow?" "I convinced them it was a prank that could get them expelled. They backed out."
He attempted a weak smile. "Jackson doesn't know yet. He'll be expecting professional footage that won't exist." "Thank you, Bryce. Don't thank me. Just survive tomorrow, and make sure he can never do this again." As he walked away, Autumn realized she'd been wrong about him. Sometimes the people closest to monsters were victims too, trapped by proximity and fear. At home, the war room was in full operation. Rachel had 3 laptops open, coordinating with contacts across the globe. Willow was on the phone with journalists, laying groundwork for the story to break. Micah sat in the corner doing homework, pretending not to understand the gravity of what his family was planning. "Mom," Autumn said, "I need to tell you something about Jackson's mother." She repeated Madison's story. Rachel's face went very still. "Elena Fitzgerald," she said finally. "I remember her. She brought Jackson to see me once, years ago. Wanted therapy for his behavioral issues. I referred them to someone else. I couldn't take a patient whose father owned judges." She paused. "I should have tried harder. Should have seen." "You couldn't have known," Willow said firmly. "None of us could predict this." They worked through dinner, preparing for war. Rachel teaching Autumn pressure points that could disable without killing. Willow coaching her on staying calm under extreme stress. All of them pretending tomorrow was survivable. At 10 p.m., Autumn's phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello, Baby Reeves?" Jackson's voice, but different. Slurred, aggressive, getting ready for your big day. "What do you want?" "Just wanted to hear your voice. Been watching you, you and your sister and your mommy, planning in your kitchen. Nice family meeting." Autumn's blood froze. She moved to the window. Across the street, a figure in a hood stood under a streetlight. He waved. "Get away from my house. Public street. Free country." He laughed, high and manic. "You know what I love about tomorrow? It's not just about you. It's about showing every girl at Ridgemont what happens when they think they're special, when they forget their place. My place isn't under your control. We'll see about that. Sweet dreams, Baby Reeves, tomorrow. You become a star." The line went dead. The figure across the street bowed mockingly and disappeared into the rain. Rachel was already calling the police. They arrived 20 minutes later, took a report, promised to increase patrols. Empty promises from cops who golfed with Fitzgerald Sr. "I should have taken that shot," Rachel muttered in Hebrew, watching the police car leave. "One clean shot would have ended this." "Mom," Autumn said firmly, "we're not killers. We're survivors." "Sometimes," her mother replied. "Those are the same thing." They tried to sleep, failed. At 3 a.m., they sat around the kitchen table, sharing stories and fears and battle plans. The storm raged outside, rattling windows and doors like something trying to get in. "Remember," Willow said, holding Autumn's hand, "you don't have to be perfect tomorrow. You just have to survive. Everything else is secondary. And if I can't, then we burn it all down," Rachel said simply. "The school, his family, their entire world. I have enough evidence to destroy 3 generations of Fitzgeralds. But I'd rather have my daughter safe," she added softly. Dawn came slowly, filtered through storm clouds. October 13th, Friday, the day Autumn had been marked for destruction. She dressed carefully. Jeans, not a skirt. Combat boots, not sneakers. Hair pulled back tight. The outfit of someone preparing for battle, not surrender. In the mirror, she saw her mother's strength and her sister's defiance. She saw 18 years of training compressed into readiness. She saw a girl who'd been hunted becoming something else. A survivor. A warrior. A reckoning. The storm was breaking. Soon. Very soon. Ridgemont High would learn what happened when they hunted the wrong girl. Autumn smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was perfect.